So y'all can pretty much say that this is a breaking news story right here, coming out of Louisville, Kentucky, where you have this individual who looks just like Jared Kushner. When I first saw his picture, I thought it was him, whose name is Connor Sturgeon, and he is the suspect for the mass shooting. Well, you could say the mass murder of multiple people at a bank down there in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, it's crazy because you just had a mass murder that occurred like last week in Tennessee. Now we have one that is occurring this week in Kentucky at a bank. Of course, you know I had to pull up heavy.com because that's the go-to spot for me when it comes to these type of breaking stories. Connor Sturgeon was the gunman who killed 4 people and wounded at least 6 others in a shooting at the Old National Bank in Louisville, Kentucky on April 10th, 2023. According to a report from WVUA, the news station confirmed with the University of Alabama that Sturgeon, a 25-year-old bank employee who attended the university, was the suspected shooter. Sturgeon is also dead, according to police. The Louisville Metropolitan Police Department said officers responded to calls of an active shooter at the downtown bank in the 300 block of East Main Street about 8:30 a.m. The quote-unquote lone shooter was found dead along with 4 other victims who were killed, according to police. At least 6 people were injured and taken to University of Louisville Hospital. Sturgeon's name previously circulated on social media after he was named by officers in a police scanner transmissions. Police have not officially confirmed his identity. The victims, which include a Louisville police officer who is in critical condition, have not been publicly identified. Now let's go ahead and get into the 5 facts. The first one reads, Connor Sturgeon called a friend and said he was going to kill everyone at the bank, according to a police scanner audio. Police scanner audio obtained by Heavy through Broadcastify revealed details of what officers were told as they responded to the scene. A dispatcher said preliminary to officers that a caller said 8 to 9 people were shot at the bank and the suspect was a white male with dark pants. Deputy Police Chief Paul Humphrey said at a press conference that the heroic response from officers absolutely saved lives. The dispatcher said the suspect was a 25-year-old white male who called a friend and left a voicemail saying he was going to kill everyone at the bank because he was feeling suicidal. Connor Sturgeon's name was mentioned as the suspect according to the audio obtained by Heavy. My thing is this. If you was feeling suicidal, why didn't you just, I don't know, take yourself out and leave everyone else alive? You could have easily did that if you wanted to take yourself out. But he said he wanted to feel suicidal. No, he wanted to go in there and feel like Rambo and just wanted to die either by their hands or theirs after he took some people with him. The suspect was said to be 6 foot 4 inches tall, according to the scanner audio. The mother and brother of the shooter approached police at the scene outside of the bank, a police officer told the dispatcher on the scanner audio obtained by Heavy. The responding officers described a chaotic scene with an officer downright in front of the bank. The responding officers reported hearing shots fired as they arrived. At one point during the audio, shots can be heard in the background. Point 2 reads, Connor Sturgeon was a syndications associate and portfolio banker at Old National Bank. So he basically committed this mass murder at the location where he works or previously worked at. So he was very familiar with this bank. On LinkedIn, Connor Sturgeon wrote, I am a syndications associate and portfolio banker with Old National Bank in Louisville following completion of the ONB Commercial Banking Development Training Program in April 2022. Wow, that's crazy. Pretty much a year after he got the job. I am certified in RMA lending decision process, hold a master's in finance from the University of Alabama, and am on the Young Professionals Board for Junior Achievement of Kentuckiana. His page says he worked as a syndications associate and portfolio banker for Old National Bank. Sturgeon began working as a commercial development professional at the bank in June 2021 and moved into his most recent role in April 2022, according to his LinkedIn profile. Landed multiple roles at once, including managing a business banking portfolio, building digital infrastructure for a new syndications team, and meeting with prospective and existing clients of all sizes he wrote. The third point reads, Connor Sturgeon graduated from the University of Alabama in 2020 and interned at the bank while in college. Sturgeon was also an intern at the bank from May 2018 to August 2020, working at the bank for 3 consecutive summers while he was in college, according to his LinkedIn profile. His LinkedIn page said he had a master's degree in finance from the University of Alabama, Manderson Graduate School of Business, and a degree in finance and economics from the University of Alabama. Sturgeon studied at Alabama from 2016 to 2020 and also obtained his master's degree in 2020, according to his LinkedIn. He highlighted a skill in teamwork. He expressed an interest in LinkedIn on a young professionals group in Louisville. Sturgeon wrote on LinkedIn in 2022 about taking part in the Focus Louisville group. Can't thank the folks at Leadership Louisville enough for their work for the past few days. Focus was an eye-opening experience about many of the issues around Louisville and the people who are working to solve them. One of the biggest takeaways was the volume of people who are working to have a positive impact at places like Junior Achievement, Goodwill, and JCTC. I am grateful for the opportunity to learn and for meeting so many great people as both speakers and classmates. Point 5 reads, Sturgeon went to Floyd Central High School in Indiana, where his father was the school's basketball coach. Now, that's the reason why I'm reading all of these points, because what I'm seeing is they're trying to highlight him in a positive light, even though he did a very and committed a very wicked act. So there's a reason why they're doing that. But I'm going to continue reading. According to Sturgeon's mother's Facebook page, Sturgeon attended Floyd Central High School in Indiana. His father, Todd Sturgeon, was the boys' basketball coach at the school until 2022 and coached Connor Sturgeon when he was a student at the school, according to the suspect's mom's Facebook page. Todd Sturgeon became the coach at Floyd Central in 2014, according to the Louisville Courier-Journal. Todd Sturgeon previously coached at the University of Indianapolis. According to the Courier-Journal, Sturgeon was a 6'4" sophomore at the high school when his father took the job. His younger brother was in middle school at the time. Todd Sturgeon told the newspaper, "My wife said you were always looking for a sign, whether it was the right time to do something, and this time it was a sledgehammer to the head. It's the opportunities to coach my sons. I have a special interest in getting the program turned around." Sturgeon's father retweeted a video of San Antonio Spurs coach Greg Popovich talking about gun control just hours before the shooting in Louisville. Todd Sturgeon retweeted a video clip from reporter Tom Osborne with the caption, "Pop used final 10 minutes of his pregame presser to slam cowardly, oblivious legislators for the inaction on gun control in wake of the mass shootings that have plagued America. Their inaction," he said, "has contributed to making the U.S. the laughingstock of the world." Can we say that was very ominous? Like, they said that this was just hours before his son committed an act that pretty much went completely against what his son was about to do, and he didn't even know. Like, that's crazy. That's a very ominous thing right there. And the 5th point says, Sturgeon, who does not appear to have a criminal record, wrote God and basketball in his Instagram profile. Connor Sturgeon does not appear to have a criminal record in Kentucky or Indiana or any arrests, according to a record search conducted by Heavy. Sturgeon has lived in Louisville since 2022. He previously lived with his family in Greenville, Indiana, and in Indianapolis, Indiana. An old Instagram profile for Sturgeon does not appear to have been updated in several years. He wrote in the biography section of the social media page, God and Basketball. A more recent Instagram profile with the username @CSturge41 was taken down after the shooting. A Facebook page for Connor Sturgeon could not be located by Heavy, and it was not immediately made clear if he had any other active social media pages. Sturgeon's family, including his parents and brother, could not be reached for comment by Heavy. This article will be updated as more information about Sturgeon and the shooting become available. And by the way, at the time of me recording this video, it was posted about an hour ago. So we'll see what else comes out about it. Of course, this video will be up before that even happens, most likely. But yeah, like I said, the thing that got me that part was the thing about what his dad said. Like, that's why I said that part was very ominous, because what he said right there was hours before the shooting happened. And then we saw his stance, and it's like, ugh, like, how do you respond to something like that? But that's absolutely insane. But I just want y'all to pay attention to what this article did. It was painting him in this very good light, because it only, in the article, it only talked about the shooting in the first couple of points. Well, the first point, and then it said that he worked at the bank in the second point, and then the last one started focusing on his backstory. So we really don't have any information right now on who the victims were or things along those lines. All we know is that he used to work at this bank. He said he was suicidal, even though it's kind of crazy that he said he was suicidal, but he went and killed a bunch of people and then he was killed. Because I could have sworn suicide meant you're taking yourself out. But I guess for him, he meant murder-suicide, because that's exactly what happened. And then you learn more about his backstory, and it's like, okay, we get it. You're trying to make a good light image out of a killer, out of a mass killer at that, for whatever reason. Like, and we don't know what his motives behind this was. My assumption was that maybe he got fired from this bank, because it doesn't say anything about him being fired. It just says that he used to work there. So maybe he still worked there and he had some gripe. They also, of course, mentioned that he had told a friend that he was going to go to that bank and kill everyone. I'm like this: if anyone is to tell anybody something like that, you do not take it lightly. You do not take it as a joke. None of that. You immediately go to the authorities and tell them what they said. And you have them get over there as soon as possible, because you don't play with something like that. Now, it makes you wonder, how fast did this friend act after they were told that bit of information? Did they take it lightly, which they shouldn't have? Or did they act quickly, but they just didn't respond fast enough? But either way, that's 2 mass shootings, mass murders that happened within a month. In a month's time span. You had Audrey Hale that did that mass killing at that school in Nashville like 2 weeks ago. Now you have this guy, Connor Sturgeon, who committed a mass murder at a bank today. At the time of me recording this video, of course, by the time it goes up, it'll be the next day. It's craziness out here. I'm telling y'all, people out here are completely unhinged. They are off their damn rocker and out of their damn mind. But offer my condolences to the people who did lose their life, with the exception of him, who lost their lives in this very tragic incident. To add and contribute to this, I would, and I kid you not, I already had the video set to upload for tomorrow as I'm recording this piece right here a couple hours later, after I recorded the initial part that y'all just heard, the first 12.5 minutes. When I came across this later on, and I said in that first part of the video, where I was reading the last 3 points on heavy.com, what they were setting this up as. And it's them trying to make us feel empathetic towards him. So this headline you see right here is coming from the New York Post. It says Louisville shooter Connor Sturgeon was star athlete, but suffered multiple concussions. In the first article, it only talked about his background, being an athlete and everything like that, his dad being his coach and whatnot, so on and so forth, but it left out the part about the concussions. So what I believe they're going to try to do is say, oh, the reason for what he did is because of the concussions that he suffered while he was playing whatever sport he was playing. I believe I read somewhere they said he wore a helmet and all types of, I think he played basketball, and I think they say he wore a helmet and all types of stuff like that. But the problem with that is people suffer concussions every day. That doesn't make them want to go out there and commit a mass murder. So I'm not going to lean into the thing of, oh, because he had these concussions, that's the reason why he did what he did. I'm not taking that bait, and neither should you. But that's what they want us to believe. That's the reasoning they're going to go with. Because as of now, they haven't found any type of manifesto to say what he did. They only have that thing, or that message that he sent to his friend, where he says, I'm going to go into that bank and kill everyone in there. So yeah, I'm sure when they do an autopsy on him, they're probably going to have to do some kind of a test to see if it came from the concussions. They're probably wanting to hope that it did. That way they can chop it up to, oh, he just has some kind of condition. No, I'm not buying it, and neither should you. But like I said, that's what they are going to want us to lean in on, is that this is what happened. I already read some of the comments, and people were saying, we're not buying it either, and good for them. This guy concussed or not, is a stone cold mass murdering gun toting maniac who is exactly where he belongs right now. It's just unfortunate he had to take others out with him.